Rollermills Marketplace in Lewisburg is home to 400 antique dealers in an 1880s restored flour mill. Rollermills Marketplace has a vast collection of antiques and collectibles. Since 1991, it has been providing customers and collectors with 3 floors and over 60,000 square feet of antiques, vintage items, and collectibles. Put on your comfy shoes and let's go treasure hunting. I'm here with Steve Bechtel of Beal Antiques. And Steve, you have some beautiful pieces here. And let's get started because I love this stuff. Tell us about it.
All right, well, this is what's called salt glazed stoneware. It's old. It's from around the turn of the century. And they molded the stoneware, and then in order to finish it, they actually put it in a kiln, got it very hot, and they shoveled salt in, which vaporized and turned into the outside, the glaze. That's why it's salt glaze.
Tell us some of the things that you do have here.
Okay, sure. Well, I like machines. So I have yarn winder, spinning wheel, butter churns, lard press. I like that sort of stuff. So, I sort of buy it when I get a chance. And that's a big old cranberry scoop right there. And, I have sort of countrified furniture. I have like a bucket match, so is this. They're basically shelves, because back in the day, people didn't necessarily have running water. So they were bringing buckets of water from outside and setting them on the bench, which was probably in the kitchen. Over there, that's a blanket chest on the bottom, dough box on top of that. When they made bread, which they made a lot, but they would knead it, whatever they do with it, you make the dough, and then they'd put it in the box to let it rise.
Oh, right.
And then they could actually work on top, on the lid usually. And I also like tins. I just recently got those 2 up there. I think they're 50-pound weight of lard. And the one on the left is from Punxsutawney, and it's groundhog brand, pure lard. So, from Punxsutawney.
Right, that's cute.
Yeah, I thought so.
I like the butter dish and the spices. That's different. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, the spice box actually was a really popular thing back around the teens. I think that they're from New Jersey. They're made in New Jersey. My guess is that was a wedding gift for a lot of people. In fact, they're loaded. You still can get them with lots of spices left in them. That's cloves, I think. Probably wouldn't want to use it, but maybe it would. This booth is just in this first door from the front of the roller mill. So it's, take a left and there you are. It's really easy to find.
Your identifier here at Rollermills is BEK, and you have cards at the booth. In case anybody likes something, they could pick up a card and give you a call if they have any questions.
There's antique shows at the Bloomsburg Fairgrounds twice a year, and we have one coming up in March. There's several people that are, have booths here will be set up at the Bloomsburg show.
Excellent. It's such a fun thing to do, to kind of walk around and look at all of this stuff. Everybody has such a unique booth, and it really is great fun. Thanks for taking the time, Steve.
Certainly. Thanks for coming in to check it out. Appreciate it.
Well, now we're transported to the Victorian era. This is Kathy Chorba, and this is her beautiful booth. Kathy, we're so excited to be here.
Thank you. I am too. I'd like to explain some of the wonderful things I have in my booth.
Let's get started.
Okay. First, we'll start with this. This is a Victorian caster set, and actually it's a condiment set. And if you had one of these in your home, you were very wealthy. And I have a bunch of Victorian jewelry.
How beautiful. And the Victorian ladies always wore jewelry, didn't they?
Yes. They went every place they went. They wore jewelry, and they always had fancy mirrors with Victorian ladies on it.
And it seems like they all had like a dressing table where they would put all of their beautiful things.
Oh, they did. They did, absolutely. Because in the back here we have the dressing screen, and that's where the ladies got dressed.
How nice.
Yes, they couldn't dress out in the open.
No.
No, they were very.
Yeah, they were very, very proper and
prim and proper. Yes,
absolutely.
And over here on the table is a Victorian man's collar box.
Oh wow! Even the collar had its own box.
Yeah, the collar has a box.
That's interesting. Can you imagine such a beautiful box to put your collar? But
I know.
But the collars were all like hand.
Oh, they're gorgeous. And the Victorian dresses. One of my specialties.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
You have lots of neat clothing.
Yes.
Look at this piece. Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness.
This is from the Edwardian time, like 1910, 1915.
Look at the detail in these.
All crocheted buttons on it.
Oh, my goodness. Beautiful.
That's called soutache, and that was all hand sewn. on the dress.
I can't even imagine how
I
long
know.
it took to make
Oh,
these pieces.
can you imagine? Hours. That's what the Victorian women and the children did at night.
Did they really?
Yes, they sit and did their sewing or crewel work, whatever they did.
Wow.
And of course, we have to have the Victorian hats.
Every lady had a beautiful hat.
Yes. The earlier Victorian times, the hats were smaller.
Okay.
And
That looks like, is that ostrich feathers?
yes,
on there?
ostrich. That would be a real Victorian, like 1880. They had tiny little hats. And
pretty that
as
is.
the period of time went on with the Edwardian, the hats got bigger, then you got the real big, huge hats
Right,
from that
right.
period of time.
Amazing. You
Yes.
have beautiful examples here of some of the hats.
Yes.
Very nice.
This is from 1890. You can tell by, they called them mutton sleeves.
Oh, okay. Yes. Wow.
And then there were, most of the clothing was linen, silk, or cotton.
This is silk, right?
Yes, silk.
Oh, it feels so nice.
Yes.
Wow. You know, the quality, though. Like, I mean, look at how long they've lasted.
Isn't
right?
it amazing?
I mean, the and the lace, and I mean, it's gorgeous.
Everything was detail.
Yeah.
Everything was detail with them.
Yeah.
Now this would have been more of a flapper dress. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That
Yeah.
low waistline,
Low,
right?
yep.
Yeah, it seemed like they were not fitted at all, the flapper
Oh no,
dresses.
the flapper.
Everything was just
They
flowed.
were so used to having the structure, they wanted to just have everything loose and flow there.
Yeah,
Yes.
right? For sure.
Yes. And then I have like different kinds of furniture pieces, mirrors. The pictures, the Victorian pictures mainly were women and children.
Really?
Yes. Yes, they just love the Victorian women and children in the pictures.
That's really
Yeah,
interesting,
it
isn't
is.
it?
That or flowers. They're very much into flowers and fauna.
Yeah.
They just love nature.
Kathy, this was so much fun.
Oh,
I
yes.
love the Victorian
Yes,
period.
I'm glad you do. I do too. It's one of my favorites.
It's really fun. So if people want to stop by your booth or they may be interested in some of the pieces you have here, how do they get in touch with you?
Okay, if they come into the shop, my code is KMD. And if you want to reach me, email is rchorba@aol.com.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Have a beautiful Victorian, lovely day.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks, Kathy.
Bye-bye.
Coming up next.
So a fun fact would be, who was the most popular album sold worldwide to date? One would think it would be this
Elvis?
guy,
Or
right?
the Beatles? Now we're going to spin in a different direction. We're here with Ann Diefenbaugh, and she is the record lady.
That's right.
Oh, I love this booth. This is going to be so much fun. Ann, thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
Well, let's talk about records in general and the fact that they're super popular with all ages right now.
Correct. So it ranges from teenagers, young teenagers, to people in their 80s.
We love records too because, you know, not only the memories, but the album covers and the art. Like, you know, there's so much that's put into them. It really is an experience to have a record.
It sure is.
You know?
So we like to read the album covers.
Yes.
And look at the graphics because some of them are really neat.
Amazing.
You can look around and see a lot of the different graphics, and many of those I frame. I have a large following of people who come in and will buy the framed albums to put in their home, you know, or give as presents. So the most popular group of all, no surprise, are the Beatles.
Yes.
Okay, so they are the all-time popular group that people do come in and ask for. So the most popular category I see is 70s rock. You know, we can go from the Rolling Stones, and the Eagles are very popular. Fleetwood Mac.
Yes, yes.
The Rumors album. If I have it here for 48 hours, it's a long time.
That was a great album too.
It's a great album, and it's still one of the best, highest-selling albums in the world.
How about some fun facts?
Here's a fun fact. So we're looking at Joe Cocker.
Yes.
And Joe Cocker never wrote an original song. He had covers his whole life.
No way.
Correct. No longer with us, but very popular. And this album happens to be something called a promo. Okay?
Right.
So promotional, given to
Radio
DJs
stations,
and
right?
radio stations, exactly. And you know it because you'll see on the back, there's a promo stamp.
Okay.
Okay. And very popular with certain collectors because they want to get a promo because it hasn't been played that much.
Right.
They say the sound is better because it's the first cut of the record. So that's a fun fact with promo.
I like that.
Okay. So a fun fact would be, who was the most popular album sold worldwide to date? Worldwide.
Wow. Gosh, I couldn't even imagine.
One would think it would be this
Elvis,
guy, right?
Or the Beatles.
But it's not. It's Michael Jackson.
Excellent. Wow. How about that?
And the Thriller album.
In addition to the records here, you sell other things as well.
I do. So we have the 45s. Okay, so the 45s obviously are one song on each side usually.
Yes.
Sometimes there might be 3 or 4, depending upon the artist. Okay.
Interesting.
Yes. So the 45s are normally people who want to enhance their jukebox collection. So
that makes
remember
sense.
those?
Yes,
you may
I
not. You might be
do.
too young to
No,
remember
I
those.
remember them.
We have CDs. We have cassettes. I don't know if we remember this. The 8-track.
Oh, the 8-track.
The 8-track.
Clicks right in the middle of a song, changes to the next track.
Changes to the next track. So we have a specific following of people who want 8-tracks. So many times I get these with estates. People will call me and say that I have 8-tracks. Are you interested? And the answer is yes.
Yes,
So
right.
I'm interested in anybody's collection, full or partial, albums, CDs, 45s, cassettes, 8-tracks. That's why I'm the record lady.
That's right, you have it all. Thank you so much for having us today, and I know so many people of all ages are going to want to stop by and check out your collection. So how can they get in touch with you, and where are you located?
Okay, so I'm located, actually here is my physical location, but I do have a business card here, and I'm also on Facebook.
Okay.
So you can go under my name in Facebook and private message me. So at any time, you just leave me a message, I'll get back to you. People often have requests of what they would like.
Okay.
I put people on a list. If I ever find something, I call them that they want.
Thank you so much again. It was such great fun. I
It's
loved it.
great fun.
It sure was.
All right, thank you, Jackie, very much.
You're welcome.
All right.